things first. When you're on your way to a business meeting, you bring the Spro Cup to go. You make sure you get your seatbelt off for safety, and you fucking get it going, okay? We are on our way to link up with a good friend of ours, someone we actually had on our podcast a while ago. Pop it up. Gary Lipovetsky wants to start a podcast. Obviously, you want to start a podcast, you want to work with the greats, you know? You want to work with the guys that have experience, and so they hit us up. So we're on our way there. We locked them in, but we're gonna go chat a little bit about, you know, how we want to take it, what angles, what direction, things like that, how often we're gonna film, all these things that a podcast generally has to kind of figure out before they get going. So we're just gonna chat a bit and show you guys a little bit of behind the scenes of, you know, of what we do on our agency side and the clients that we kind of work with. So let's get it.
I gotta say, guys, I watch all of your shit, and your stuff is dope. Like you guys do such a good
Appreciate
job.
that.
Like the interviews, everything. I'm super impressed.
Appreciate that.
I'm more into it for you guys than your guests.
I like to hear that. You know, we get that sometimes, but the guests are good. Yeah.
But you guys are carrying it, not your guests.
Since we've had you on, it's been great growth too. So
that's why we gotta do that round two, eh? We gotta do it.
Yeah.
You've got a podcast coming up.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what made you want to do it though? That's what I want to know.
Honestly, like I'm already like embarrassed not doing it.
Yeah.
Because like my wife is, she's a superstar, and she's super talented, and I feel like I want to do something. I've spent the last 6 years building out the organization that is supporting and developing Valeria's personal brand. I'm at a stage where I still need to make money. If I want to continue growing, I want to do something that motivates me. I want to do something that I'm excited about doing.
It just makes sense that you want to do a podcast.
My only kind of reservation about all of this is I don't see a direct path to monetization. Now we do millions of dollars a year in sponsorship revenue. But with this podcast, because I'm a male, like for Valeria, a female with a female audience, clothing, cosmetics, I don't know what the same is, you know, for me.
You're documenting your days. That's already getting people like locked in on like what you're doing, right? Now it's like, how can you turn that into some more like pro content, stuff that can be on the feed, right? And I think that's where you're expecting sort of the podcast to come into play.
But even with that, like I'm sure like the network that you've built already, you can tap into if they knew you were doing a podcast.
I just want to continue to build a personal brand, and I want to contribute to the overall brand of my family.
Yes. Also a lot of intangibles, which, I mean, we've seen it since starting our podcast, right? We sit down with someone, and now down the road we work with that person.
The reason I hit you guys up is because I really like the quality of your production.
Thank you.
For me, there's so many intangibles that come from a podcast.
Right.
That it's just, if we never signed, we would still be doing the podcast because we just saw, like, we got to meet you, and that happens on tenfold when we meet 100 other people, right? Sure. Those relationships mean more to me than I would say like selling one of my services.
I agree.
Right? So down the road, like you said, there's going to be definitely opportunity for monetization, especially with your network. But who knows what door opens.
When you do start to monetize, I have a feeling it's going to be crazy. And that's how it starts. It starts with the passion first. That's what it was for us too. Yeah. We did 2 years, probably about 100 plus episodes until we saw $1.
We just did the math actually, because we were like, okay, let's just see how much we spent, because we finally started making money. Yeah. It was 200 something thousand. Yeah. And that's like for two guys like us. Like, it's not like we're making crazy money from the agency, but that's the belief. I think you have the passion as well. I think you have a lot of knowledge to offer as well.
You know how much smarter you're going to be than I am when you're 50?
Stop.
You're growing up in a different time.
That's also true.
Fair. How old are you guys?
I'm 29. 29.
You're in your 20s?
For now.
Are you kidding me?
For another couple months.
Relax. When guys like you, like even make some kind of a joke about getting old, or what do guys like you should just fucking commit suicide?
No. I guess my question is for the podcast, is there a specific direction you want to go?
I want to create a podcast, and the title, what I'm thinking to call it is something like Rise. Just simple, one word, Rise. Okay. And I want to sit down with successful people, and I want to talk to them about where they started. I want to talk to them, I want to go on a chronological journey with them to talk about everything that happened from that beginning to literally like the shithole they were born in to where they are now. you know a little bit here and
Yes.
there what happened, but you don't have something like, you don't have like a full piece of like a long form piece of content that does a deep dive into the full chronology.
You're trying to get very personal with people.
Yes.
But you got to also give them like something to look at and understand. Like, you know, if you're inviting someone onto this podcast that you want to get really personal with them,
They have to know
they
that.
they got to be able to reference like something you've done before. So like, I was gonna say, starting with speaking to your own story, speaking to Valeria's story, that might be a good way to get it started, so that you have reference for someone that you're inviting onto the show. This is what we do. Here's a perfect episode. Here's our pilot episode.
The more you get into their story, the more value you're gonna get out of them. That's realistically what it is.
If they're gonna get really deep into their story, like the content that we can edit out for them, that you'd be giving to them, would be
That means they would never have gotten
like
it before.
it's content that they would never get.
Like if you're
before.
bringing someone on and they're saying something for the first time and you give them that content, they're gonna be like,
Absolutely. For me, like to talk about like, I had like a really, tough childhood with my immigrant family who came here in 1976 with no money as refugees from Ukraine. And there's a lot of stories like that, and I feel like it's almost like a common denominator with successful people. You have that kind of contrast between their early life.
A lot of these influencers or these people that are very influential out there, they don't get the chance to say these stories because when they're on a big platform or anything like that, they're not talking about that. They're talking about trendy stuff. They're talking about what's happening right now. So they don't get a chance. And we've seen it with our own eyes that guests love to talk about themselves. Number one.
Yeah.
And the deeper you can go, the more personal you can go, the more they're just gonna keep it going.
But once you get going, you're gonna just it's gonna flow. You know what I mean?
This to me, this is a lot of it is legacy.
Yeah.
I have 3 boys.
Yeah.
It's legendary.
And
Amazing.
I want my boys to see that their father did something. Yeah. So there are a lot of guys who make a lot of money, right? And that's cool. And they die, and their kids get a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
I'd rather my kids had far less money, made their way in the world themselves, made their own money, but they had a strong, role model as a man.
The cool thing is that you'll have these combos forever.
So going on your thing about the time is not really equating to being, let's say, a good parent, but it's more so those moments. And I think having something that you can give to them and they can have forever and pass down as well.
No, this is the ultimate way to leave your mark, for your lineage, you know, leave the bloodline forever.
And listen, my hope, everybody wants their kids to follow in their footsteps, but if my kids could be the next Rogan.
In terms of the actual pod now, from let's say a setup standpoint, production standpoint, we're shooting it here.
So I think that realistically, a lot of it's going to be remote because I don't think I'm going to stage it where I'm going to fly somewhere.
Yeah.
I may, depending on the guest.
Yeah.
Sure. The in-person stuff will either be here at the house, or it will be at their location. If there's
somewhere here. Yeah, we just officially brought our agency business here. So we pretty much launched that about a week ago. So in the while we were getting prepped to do that, to take on any work, we've been building our team here, and they also been working with us on the pod, right? So we've been able to train them properly, make sure they know exactly how we do things, how we like things done.
I'm testing you guys.
You're gonna be happy.
This is
You're gonna
the
be
start.
happy.
Honestly, if I wouldn't have seen the quality of what you guys are doing for yourselves, I wouldn't have contacted you about this.
I just want to know when you want to get started.
Yeah, what's the timeline?
I mean,
because we're going to onboard you pretty much. Now you're going to get your own account manager, right?
Okay.
This person is going to be yours 24/7.
Okay.
This is going to be the person that's pretty much making those blurbs of each guest, the questions for each guest, topics.
And then obviously all the post-production stuff you guys will do.
Everything.
How about the research for beforehand? So I'm comfortable doing my own research, but do you guys want to provide me with
No, we could definitely.
brief?
That's something that we included. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Done.
What a meeting. Gary's an absolute G.
I love this guy.
Man, what him and his wife have done it's incredible. I mean, I know we came to chat business, which we did, but we got some life talks. It was cool just to hear about what he's doing and what his family's doing and what they're up to over here. It's inspiring.
Rise Pod.
Yes.
Coming soon.
Yep.
And our pod part 2 with him is coming soon too with Valeria.
Yep.
Bro, this guy's a legend. I feel amped.
Boys,
Yep.
that's how you do business with some multi-millionaires in Miami. You know what I mean? You're looking at 2 schmucks here, but we made it here. We got to chat with some millionaires, do business with them, which is, it's just the value is crazy. We don't take this shit for granted. Anything we can do, we go above and beyond for these people, and that's just the business that we're in. We get to have fun with our podcast, But on the side that you guys probably don't see, the agency side, you know, it's customer service. It's all about service, giving these people, you know, the best experience. And when you're in neighborhoods like this with people that make this much money, you got to give them that A+ experience and customer service. So thank you guys for watching. We love you. Click subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and we are out.